right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
All right, everybody, welcome on into NorCal Sports Network. I am live here at Chase Field in Arizona, and the Giants did not show up tonight. In Bryce Eldridge's Major League Baseball debut, they lose it 8-1. But before we get into that, let us thank our sponsor of the show. That would be Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call. And I don't have their number to pull up right now, but you know the drill. Chapman Law Group is a proud sponsor of NorCal Sports Network. Guys, I don't know what it looked like on TV on Bryce Eldridge tonight when he smoked. I think it was his second to last at bat. Hit it about, I don't know, I'm looking out there, 413, just to the left of the 413 sign. It looked like it went about 405 feet, 106 miles off the bat. I thought it was out of here when he hit it, but what were your general thoughts overall, guys?
I thought, that was he got some wood on it there for sure. I thought, I was expecting him to have some issues with the big league pitching, and he actually put together some pretty good at bats. He didn't get a hit tonight, but I thought that the at bats were good. I mean,
nobody else did. Nobody else did either,
right.
But Casey fit.
Yes, at least Dan got to see a home run from Casey. He saved that for Dan tonight. But yeah, pretty ugly game overall. The Giants. This is the team that we watched for 2 months there in the middle of the season. Before this last hot streak. The team that has zero offense, and when you have no pitching either, then it's a very ugly game.
Yeah, Lou, what were your thoughts?
For the biggest game of the year, they didn't show up. You give up a run without even a hit to start off. Thank God Casey played, or we would have been no hit. That inning was probably the Giants' bullpen all the second half of the year. Melvin still doesn't know what he's doing, and I know with tomorrow they still don't know who the starter is. You have guys that had to sort of suck it up, but our pitchers are 4A pitchers, and when you go on the road and you don't have your stuff, you're going to get pounded, and they did. And, this is something I was worried about, especially on the hot corner. I thought tonight was a key thing because now Arizona, who's now ahead of us, has a chance to win the series tomorrow. We don't know who we're pitching, and, before you know it, we have a chance to really sink bad quick. The Dodgers, just because we have a 4-game series against the Dodgers, they're just not going to say, hey, come on. And they have a chance to bury us. And, that's what scares me more. We need to step up tomorrow and Wednesday, or it could be over before they come back home for the last 6 games. That could mean nothing.
Yeah, they've got to be within 2 games of the loss column to have a chance coming back home. They can't. Right now, they're 2. They cannot let it get any bigger than what it is.
And the Reds came back to win tonight, too, on the road. So a big win for them.
Yeah. So, overall, it was disappointing. What was your thoughts, guys? I thought Tang was pitching pretty decent, and he was yanked after 4 innings with 73 pitches. What was that all about? Was there an injury? Did they say anything in the broadcast?
In the broadcast, all they said was that Melvin was probably afraid that he would blow it in his 3rd time through the rotation like last time. So he usually Lou always mentions how every time Melvin is leaving in a pitcher 1 inning too long, and then maybe tonight was the time that he pulled the guy out 1 inning too short.
Well, I was sitting with Marty Lurie, and we were talking about this, and it was like, wait a minute. We were trying to go back and remember, did Tang start the 5th, or did he get pulled?
No.
And I went back and I looked, and I says, Gage came in. Now, Gage pitched a good 5th inning, and then he gives up the double to Corbin Carroll to lead off the 6th, and then he yanks him and brings in Peguero, who can't find the broadside of a barnyard. I mean, what the heck? This guy, 2 days in a row or 2 games in a row. I don't know the last time he pitched, if it was yesterday or Saturday, but this guy can't find the plate. And that was his problem all his whole career. And that's why he hasn't been up in the big leagues until this year. Isn't he like 28 years old or something like that?
Yeah, he's been around. And
yeah.
I mean, he came up and was so hot to start with that everyone kind of had the question, where has this guy been all this time? And then
wait here, guys. I'm going to go down here and show you Bryce Eldridge on the field here. Let me get it over here. Let me see. Bryce being live here. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah, his family's there. They showed him in the stands a couple times.
Okay. All right, Bryce. There's Bryce right there. Big league debut. There's some other Eldridge family members. I'll just leave it right here. You guys got a good view of that? Is it pretty clear?
Pretty clear.
Okay. It looks like must be his mother there in the orange shirt, I'm assuming. Maybe a brother there. Looks like it. All right. We're bringing Bryce Eldridge to you live on the field. Right here at NorCal Sports Network.
It's unfortunate that Bryce and the rest of the Giants they only had 2 hits tonight. I mean, that's
Eldridge is the center. I mean, I don't even know if it went 400. You know, it's a big ballpark. I mean, the first time up, he hit that sort of, as the announcer said, scorch it at first. It was just a soft ground ball the first to end his at bat. And then, of course, he struck out on a very good slider. But, I think the key tonight is you let Gallen get in the groove. Gallen's a lot different pitching at home. As I said last night, Gallen took over the game, and once they got the lead, the Giants didn't have anything to counter it. I mean, what do you think, Dallas? Am I right? Or
yeah, absolutely right. I mean, he was. They had no response for him. I mean, they could take some pitches, but there wasn't really much they could do with it. When they would put the ball in play, it was always hit to somebody. I mean, they didn't catch any breaks tonight, and the strike zone was maybe the worst of the year. I mean, it was pretty bad.
Weren't getting them. They gave them the low strikes early, but in the mid they didn't. So what happened.
It was a very inconsistent strike zone, but that's not an excuse. I mean,
were, and they scored 6 runs in the 6th. Remember, it could have been worse if the one guy didn't run into an out. So it was like batting practice, and that's the problem with these Giants bullpen guys. Is it's almost funny. They don't get that first out. They really start going down fast. And, before you knew it, it was like 6 straight hits. I know they got an out because they got rained, but it was like 6 or 7 straight hits. So,
time to go home.
We go
upstairs. Thank you for coming.
They're kicking Dan out.
Well,
they're kicking all of us out now. So, anyway, we got to go upstairs. There it is. Final shot there, Bryce Eldridge. We didn't get. I was hoping he would walk right by us, and I would get a chance to say we're live on NorCal Sports Network. Bryce, good game, good bats.
Welcome, Bryce. You fit right in.
It's one of those things. You got all excited for a date, and it was a disaster. Nothing went right.
So we're live from Chase Field, and everybody says you're live right now. Say goodbye. Good night. All right, take care. All right, there we go. They don't let me lingering around here. All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to cover a little bit from the ballpark before I left, and I'll let you guys finish the show. I got about an hour's drive home.
Yep.
So. Hopefully, I know Bora might not be available to close it. So if I'm going to be too long, I'll have him stop in and close the show. You guys take it away. Have a Have a good show, and see you hopefully in about an hour.
All right, Dan. Drive safe.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
They told Dan that you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Of course. They probably said you're a Giants fan. You came here. Thank you for the donation. And Eldridge, good luck tomorrow. I mean, we're getting excited about a fly ball that went to center and a ground out. I mean, come on, guys. I don't think you can say anything until he's done something, until he's got a batting average.
No,
I mean,
you can't say anything, but he struck out once, right? That was it.
Yeah, and that was a good slider. I mean, and I thought the best thing about it is his first time at bat before he grounded out, Gallen threw 2 great changeups.
Yep.
And he had a good eye. At least he had the good eye tonight. So, I'll give him a little credit, but, he's got to do something, but, hopefully tomorrow it's, one of those things where, let him get a batting average. I mean, we're making Eldridge, I think somebody in the chat brought up a good point. It's just it's a rookie coming up, guys. I've been saying this all year. This guy has more pressure. He probably doesn't deserve it. And it's not Joe Dimage. It's not Willie Mays. We're making him like the next superstar because we're so desperate for a superstar. Really, when I think about it, Dallas, I mean, Buster wasn't really a superstar. He was a great, consistent player, but he wasn't a superstar. When you use that, I think that's what made Timmy sort of unique. But, he was a great pitcher. He might have been a level below superstar. To me, someone like Ken Griffey Jr., he's a superstar, right? Sure. I mean, I think, Mad Bum was a superstar maybe for that year because it was something we haven't seen. But, we keep using these names of guys that haven't proven it yet, and I think it's because we're so desperate. We want another guy like Willie Mays. We want these guys that are so high in life, but that's why they're superstars, Hall of Famers. It's like we had probably about 2 months ago, Dallas, you guys were all saying, Buster definitely is a Hall of Famer. Buster will be a Hall of Famer mostly because of the rings. And he did win a batting title and he had to come back player of the year. But to me, like Hall of Famers and superstars are on such a high level. Dallas, like when you think about it, like Reggie Jackson, he was a superstar. Pete Rose, superstar. And with us, we've had so much disappointment from all these guys that are supposed to be the next thing. Let Eldridge just be Eldridge. I'm just hoping he can contribute and maybe bring us 1 or 2 wins that maybe we couldn't have gotten.
Sure. And he's only 20 years old. I mean, you got to temper your expectations.
Is he 20? Yeah, he's 20 or 19. 20. I can't remember. Yeah, 20. I mean, he's young. So, and trust me, there's a lot of pressure. When you come up and you have a family there, if you remember Gilbert, wasn't Gilbert like 1 for 19? He had his family there for 3 days. His dad flew all the way from the Philippines. It's not pressure. You have so much pressure on you from your family, your friends, and then your teammates, and then your fans. It's like, it's one of those things. So, let's just see what we can do.
Plus, it's an adjustment. The pitching in AAA is a lot different. If a pitcher in AAA is good, where is he? He's on the big league team.
Yeah. I mean,
as soon as he's halfway decent, he's here. I mean, we got some guys right now that barely belong in the big leagues, but we want them up here because we need pitching, and every team is like that.
Yeah,
and so the competition that he's facing is a lot higher.
Oh yeah, and he's going to be going against some great pitchers. I think one of the things I said last night is we have 5 straight right-handers that we're going against. So he's definitely going to be in. He'll definitely get his chance. But I thought tonight in the first inning, Gallen's changeup was so good. It was almost too good that maybe Bryce didn't even see it because it was such a good drop. But I'm going to give it to the credit of his eye. And I think it's one of those things that, give this guy time, regardless of what happens. Give the guy time. I think, in the next, we have 12 more games. He'll do something special just for a little tease, sort of like how the Giants have been all season. But I think most importantly,
he will hit. Yeah. He will get a hold of one at some point. But
I'd love to go to batting
in the lineup. I was surprised at that.
Very surprised. But where would you put him? When you look at the Giants lineup, would you maybe have batted him 7th?
Yeah, I mean, Ramos, I think, should have hit ahead of him.
Especially moving Lee up. It's. Oh, by the way, before we forget tonight, another double-digit strikeouts. So I know we only got 2 hits, but 10 strikeouts. So that's, it's sort of coming back a little bit. But yeah, when you looked at the lineup, it was like the other thing I didn't like tonight, only 2 walks. It wasn't like Gallen was, Cy Young, but, it was one of those things. And Adames was fooled all night. I mean, he struck out his first 3 times up and, and then Devers couldn't get to it. I think this team goes when Dever goes. When you really look at it, when Devers only goes like 1 for 4, has 2 or 3 strikeouts, those are the games where we only score 1 run. Yeah. And like everything else with our pitching, we need to at least score on this road trip at least 4 runs, maybe even 5, because, our pitching's not that great. Again, I'm a little upset, with 12 games in the biggest home road trip.
1 run certainly doesn't cut it. When you score 1 run, it doesn't even matter what the pitching is.
Yeah.
You can give up 8 or you can give up 2. You're still going to lose. So the offense needs to show up. Look, we're having to grasp at straws to look at silver linings tonight, but Kaiwei Tang gave up a run, but actually, better than I thought he would do.
And it was unearned.
The bullpen was as bad as right, exactly. The bullpen did not show up. It's the same guys as last night that blew it. So it's like they're going to have to change something up. I don't know.
And you're going to have a guy starting tomorrow, maybe 2 innings. You're going to have a bullpen game. So you're going to have to, that's why I think he kept some of those guys in. What are you going to do? Had
but is Bivens going to start tomorrow? I mean, maybe the Giants are going to bring up somebody because
Seymour, even though he only pitched that's why I didn't like Seymour pitching yesterday. The Giants had lost and they still pitched Seymour an inning in the 3rd for no reason. You need a starter.
Gage and Peguero have pitched 2 games in a row, right?
In a row. Yep.
And then Lucchesi has pitched quite a bit lately. So Keaton Wynn maybe have some bullets left in the tank. Is Tristan Beck on this team? Yeah, he is.
So he might be the
Beck, and you got Seymour, and you got Bivens, and they're gonna have to piece it together. But it's not looking pretty.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Arizona, especially with New York tonight, gained a half game, so they're ahead of us. They're trying to catch it. I mean, why we have there? Hey, let's just look at the standings the way it is tonight, since a few teams are out. And then we'll go over, the game and what we thought. But, when you go to the wild card now, this is what scares me. The Reds with a big road game, they were down and they came back. So right now we're tied with Cincinnati. Arizona's ahead of us. So, we lose a half game to the Mets, and that's why I kept trying to bring up this subject. We were so concerned about the Mets. Really, nobody talked about Arizona. Nobody talked about Cincinnati. I mean, of all the teams, Cincinnati has the best starting pitching. I'm going to say that because they have 4 quality starters, right? Mm-hmm. And then, I think Arizona's probably got 3 starters. I think we probably have 3. And then,
2 of them can't pitch right now.
Yeah. And that's why these games are so important, because if we lose tomorrow and say we lose Wednesday, who cares about that we have Webb? our 3 best pitchers going when only 1 is showing up. Yeah. So it's a tall order. I thought today, with the biggest game of the year, they just came out flat. And I mean, I thought after Casey got that Titanic tank, we were going to do it. But hey, Dan got excited because Eldridge made an appearance. Okay, so he had a hard thing to first, got out, and then he had a fly ball to center that Dan thinks went 405. Everything looks far when you hit it to center field, but I mean, did you think that ball was out?
I thought it had a chance. I mean, just off the bat, and
because a couple of those balls tonight were loud, but I think he probably just got under it a lot. I mean, I remember Arizona's guy, I thought ball was out and it hit at the very bottom of the wall.
Exactly.
So maybe the ball just wasn't carrying the night. I did hear one
thing. It's weird in a dome, but they were joking on the radio side.
They said they used the humidor tonight, so maybe that caused it. I haven't had humidor at Chase in a while. I only hear it at Colorado, but they did talk that they did use it tonight. So maybe that's why the ball, didn't fly out as, one of those.
Right. But they said that the expected batting average on, which is one of those advanced stats on Bryce Eldridge's hit there, like there's like a 960 is what the average on balls like that normally would be. So he had like a 96% chance at it being a hit, and it got caught.
Yeah, that's baseball. He'll probably have a check swing in the next 2 days, and he'll go down the line. He'll go as a double.
Right.
That's just how it is. All right. Well, let's just go over the game a little bit.
Sure.
I just think it was one of those things where, hey, Philly took the lead going into the top of the ninth. They now lead 5-4 over LA. Give you a little update. I think just tonight was one of those things where, even though Eldridge was playing, I just had the feeling in the back of my mind with Tang, I'm going like, what are we going to get? And I never really thought, just because Eldridge was there, that we were going to win. Coming off 2 rough games in a row, our bullpen sort of shaky, not sure what we're going to get from the starter. And, I thought Gallen at home is a much different pitcher. And I know, the Giants beat him, but, it's one of those things too. It's hard to beat a good, decent pitcher in consecutive weeks. You know what I mean, Dallas, where they just played him at here, and now he could adjust. Right now everyone's talking about Eldridge, and I guess the Giants said, oh, we beat him last time. We can do it again. But, I thought Gallen pitched good until I think he hit like the 5th inning or 6th inning. But, he's one of those guys that once he gets in a groove, he's very tough to beat. And I know he's not having.
He's got really good control.
Yeah, he's talented.
So
I would love for him to be on the team.
Maybe more inexperienced pitchers, batters might like to see them, figure him out and see him in consecutive appearances in short time window. But when you're good, I think you can change some couple of things up and just keep rolling. And he did well tonight.
All right. Well, we'll just we'll go quick over the game, and then we'll pick our players, and then we'll see what the chat thinks. But, again, game 1 of the series, the last road trip of the year for the Giants. We had Tang going for the Giants and Zac Gallen. Now, Zac Gallen was 11-14, but he was 5-2 in his last 7 starts. So don't always look at the record. And his ERA, he had a couple rough items, is now down below 4. He was up to like 6.5. So, basically Arizona came in, went up quick 1-0, didn't even get a hit, sort of an error that caused all the problems. And I thought what was nice is Gallen retired the first 6 guys, in case you didn't see it with Eldridge. He very, very good eye. It was, I think, 1-2, and then threw 2 straight changeups, and then Eldridge hit a sort of a hard ball the first, got him out, no problem. And then the next inning, it was sort of funny. At least I was watching TV. Casey was 3-1. He goes fastball count, and Casey got a 94 mile an hour fastball, and he launched it. That was out in every single ballpark. It was a Titanic tank. I think it went 4-12, and the Giants tied it up to make 1-1. And what I really like too is Tang the next inning had a nice little shutdown inning, and it was 1-1 through 5. And then unfortunately, the Giants again didn't get a hit until the 7th. Casey was the only one, in case you guys didn't see it, that got 2 hits on the day. Nobody else got anything. The other thing is we only got 2 walks. So Gallen was in total control, and I did the first half. So why don't you lead what happened in the 6th? The other thing, too, is one of the things, and Dallas will bring this up, I thought Tank probably deserved an extra inning, because I know he went 74, but he was never really, except for that first inning, really never suffering or in a hemorrhage inning or anything. He pitched really, really good. He pitched better than I thought he could be. He sort of pitched like 2 games ago, and he definitely pitched to deserve another opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think why not? I mean, they don't have anybody else really. So
yeah. So why don't you bring on the dreaded sixth, if you can remember?
So in the sixth inning, they at that point it was Figueroa came in to replace Matt Gage.
Yep.
And Corbin Carroll started off with a double off of Matt Gage. They left him in to face the lefty, and then he gave up a double. So then they took him out, put in Figueroa, who walked Moreno and Blaze Alexander, and then so the bases at that point are loaded.
3-2 pitches both. Then he walked them. So
and then Vargas singles, and that's where they managed to get one out.
Vargas tried to go to second, thought he was on the throw, but still we were in the game. It's 3-1.
Right. Yeah. Still had a chance there, and then they brought Lucchesi in to replace Figueroa, and then Lawler pinch hit. Bring in the righty to pinch hit against the lefty Lucchesi, and then he hits a double right away. And then McCann comes in and homers. So that made it 6-1. And then there was a throwing error by Casey Schmidt, which allowed McCarthy to reach. Yep. And then Perdomo hit a triple. That was that where he missed the ball, grabbing the ball, Ramos, or was that later on?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, that made it 7-1.
Oh, was that the eighth inning? I can't remember. I don't know. Ramos did it. Regardless, yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that guy, tell you the truth, that the Giants are going to do anything in the offseason, Dallas, whatever you have to do, get him from Arizona. Because let me tell you something. These last two series, Perdomo has just destroyed the Giants, either being, 10 pitch at bats. I mean, I remember last series he went 3 for 4. Today, I think, what did he go, 3 for 4 or 4 for 5? I mean, the guy, they always have that saying, some people have another team's number. You just can't get him out.
Oh, yeah.
That's him. I mean, he's probably batting 900 against the Giants, it seems like. And the worst part about it is
Paul Goldschmidt, those guys.
Yeah. He's a leadoff hitter. So when, you can't get him out and, he leads off and it's 11 pitch single, it really hurts the pitch count. It really hurts the overall. He wins. Even though he only gets a single, he wins. But, I mean, tonight, another huge game, 3 for 3, 2 ribs, 2 walks. I mean, I'd love for him to be the Giants. That's the type of player that they need. Somebody, that. And the other thing, too, he's a switch hitter. So it doesn't matter who comes in. That's the one thing. I can't remember the last time where you go against a team and the number 1 and 2 hitters are both switch hitters. So it doesn't matter. I mean, can you remember that, Dallas? Yeah. 2 guys that are switch hitters to lead it probably in the last 10 years, 1 and 2 batters. So
I can't think. I'm sure there must have been.
Yeah. And you got to remember, guys, they traded 2 of their best players at the trade deadline, Arizona, and they're still ahead of us. So I just wanted to bring that up. They
were in the same boat as the Giants where they kind of sold at the deadline and they were out of it. And then they've just continued to play well enough to stay in it. I mean, it doesn't take much to stay in it. They were 500 going into tonight, right?
Yeah.
And now they're a game over 500 and the Giants are back to 500.
And Dodgers just hit a homer in the 9th to tie.
Yeah. So 5-5. They scored another run in the 8th, but really the Diamondbacks scored in the 1st and the 8th. And if you erase that inning in the 6th, the 6 runs in the 6th, then the Diamondbacks win 2-1.
Yeah.
But the Casey Schmidt was the entirety of the Giants offense tonight. And, that's not a recipe for it to win. Casey hitting in the 8th hole tonight. So having Eldridge in there really does extend that lineup to where when your last 2 hitters are Casey Schmidt and then Gilbert. That's
and do you think they put Bailey ahead of Schmidt just because Bailey's been so hot and had a big series, and has been hitting the ball in the Dodgers? Because normally he would bat 8th, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't matter.
The order was a little weird tonight. I mean, I did like that they had Devers hitting 3rd because I liked the opportunity to get at least one runner on. Both for the Giants, both runners are not going to get on to lead off a game. That's not going to happen. But if one can get on, then Devers can do some damage instead. Because when Devers is hitting second, 80% of the time he's coming up with nobody on base.
Yeah, I agree.
So I did like seeing Devers in the third hole, but Chapman
and you get the pitchers out of the stretch.
Yeah,
instead of the windup.
Exactly. But Chapman hitting behind him, that doesn't make much sense to me. You can still pitch around Devers to try and get to Chapman. So
yeah,
I would rather have seen Ramos behind Devers or flip flop Chapman and Adames. So Adames is hitting behind Devers. So I didn't understand that. I didn't really understand putting Eldridge in front of Ramos just because, Ramos is a proven guy. Eldridge, he's going to have to earn his stripes a little bit. So having him down at 6 or 7 would have made more sense. Having Schmidt hit in front of Bailey, Bailey's been good the last few games, but Schmidt's been good all season. So on
our chat we have a guy named Dan Coach Amalia. He says Melvin doing his usual left right lineup. So if you look, it was left right. Dan, very good comment. Welcome to the chat. So
like and subscribe there, Dan.
Yeah, like and subscribe, please. We need it. Guys, we have 98 people on here, and we only have 14 people hitting the like button. Please hit the like button and subscribe. That's what we're here for. We're here for you guys. But without you guys doing that, we wouldn't have a show. So just, a little thing we ask, especially on a night like this, we need you guys, cheer us up.
We had 98 watchers and how many likes?
14 only. It's probably,
Man,
that
was just disgraceful.
Sorry, guys. I'm back. It's my second day. I'm trying to do better. Sorry, Dallas. I know you've been holding the fort, but, and guys, for the chat, just so you know, some of us have jobs. So I had my team from Mequon and Chicago and Louisville were all in town last week. And that's why I wasn't around. So I apologize if you guys didn't know. But it was good. I went to the Giant game Tuesday night. We went on the field. Thursday night, we went to Capo's. I wanted to show my guys what real pizza was, being from Chicago. And then, they stayed down at Fisherman's Wharf every night. Of course, they had In-N-Out Burger. But you know what? The week's over, and now I'm back. So get used to it. But, Dallas, I just think it was one of those things where, I was so excited, about tonight. It was almost like, I think last night when we got the gift of Eldridge, it was sort of like Christmas Day today. But you know what? The parents went cheap. And instead of getting a good present, I got a gift certificate that's expired. That's sort of how I feel, like I was so excited to see Eldridge. And again, hey, we know he's young. I think one of those things is, we're just going to have to be patient. That's about what I want to say. If you look at his stats, I when I was in Reno, and it was not good. He was 0 for 4 with a golden sombrero, but hopefully tonight's a sign where he makes a little contact, and we'll see. Like I said, the Giants are going against 4 straight right-hand pitchers. So hopefully, we keep the lineup. That's one thing about Melvin. I want to keep this lineup. Dallas, have Lee start. Have Adames. Just keep the lineup consistent. We're playing in a good ballpark where, hopefully we can get some hits and some runs. But, it was one of those things, and nothing you can do. It's just a loss. But tomorrow becomes a huge game. I don't know. Have they announced who's going tomorrow? Has anybody heard who's going for the Giants tomorrow?
Let me look. Let me see if there's anything posted here. TBD there. Let's check the Twitterverse.
All right, chat. Who do you want to start tomorrow? Do you want them to bring somebody up from the minors? Do you want maybe someone like Beck? I mean, Beck's one of those guys where he can go 3 innings and give up 2 hits and strike out 6. or you can go 3 innings, give up 13 runs. Yeah, I keep hearing about Roop, but I hear Roop isn't ready still. I've heard his last couple starts. Now, again, you pitch in the minors and you're having problems. He's having problems locating. He's sort of having the same problem from what I heard that Harrison had. Remember when Harrison last year went back down to try to get it right, and he sort of never got it right? Some of these young guys, you're so used to pitching one way, and, you go through the system, and then you're so desperate to get back to the majors, you try to adjust. You try to, do something different, and it just doesn't work. Baseball is one of those weird things, Dallas, where it always knows, when you're doing something wrong, and, other teams see it. And, it's sort of like tonight, the one thing about Casey Schmidt is he knew what's his name changeup was too low, and he just waited for the fastball and kaboom. So, yeah, I don't know about Roop. I don't think Roop's coming back this year. I see on the chat, our guy Dan wants to be involved again. He says, I don't think Roop is coming back this year. I heard he's not feeling 100% of his arm. If you guys remember early in the show, I'd say back in May and June, Dan said this: our young guys haven't pitched that much, as long as it done. Roop had never pitched 75 innings. Now he pitched that, can't come back. Who's our other pitcher that went down, couldn't find it, the changeup?
Birdsong.
No, not Birdsong, the other one, who always throws a changeup in AAA.
Wisenhunt.
Yeah, Wisenhunt. Wisenhunt, guys, I know it seems like he was only in the majors for maybe 3 or 4 starts, but he pitched like 18 games, in AAA. There was a reason why he didn't come up, and once they get that streak, you got to start thinking of the future, and that's sort of the key. It's like, all right, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. In fact, Dallas, what was the change to bring Eldridge on the 26-man roster? Was somebody sent down?
They had to make 2 moves because he had to get on the 40. So they DFA'd Brett Wisely, and then they sent they DFA'd Wisely, and then they sent Luis Matos down to make room on the 26.
And what does that mean for Matos?
It means we probably won't see him until Encarnacion gets hurt again.
Okay. I couldn't find that today, but Brett Wisely, here's the one thing about the Giants. We don't need Brett Wisely back. It's not like we're losing something, but every year they keep bringing up these crumbs to fill up. Just move on. Move on. I do want to
forced to move on this time.
Yeah, you got to move on.
Unless no one claims him, in which case they could probably option him back to Sacramento off the 40-man, which is pretty likely in my estimation.
Yeah. We'll see. Tomorrow's going to be tough too. This guy, Eduardo Rodriguez, he strikes out a lot of guys. So I think the key to this road trip is get a lead early, and then just try to stay close. You know what I mean? It's like, it's again, you got to get a lead, try to get some key hits. And I think, this will be Melvin's test. If they're not hitting, get walks, bunt them over, do whatever you can to survive. And, I think they should try to steal, bunt runners over. I think Eldridge would be great if you can get a runner at third, where I know at least he'll make contact for a sacrifice fly. But, it's tough. It's tough when your team's not hitting and they're sort of going that way, and you're pitching, especially your bullpen's not pitching. It's sort of signs for a disaster. I don't know. What to say.
And 2 hits is embarrassing. I mean,
in a hitter's ballpark too.
Yeah. So they're going to have to do better, or they're going to be out of this very quickly.
Yeah, I think, we said last night they got to at least go 4-3. Now they're 0-1. So, the worst they could do is go 3-3. But, tonight was sort of a big night because you didn't want Arizona to overtake you. The Mets weren't playing. So if you won, you would have gained another half game on them. and it's what can you do? It's only one game, but you gotta win tomorrow, because if you don't win tomorrow, that's going to be 4 straight losses. And as Dan would say, this is typical of the Giants. They go 12-3, and then they come back and they'll go 3-9. You know what I mean? Where it's sort of counterproductive. It's nothing you can do. I mean, right now, guys, we're at exactly 150 wins. 150 games. They've won 75. They've lost 75. And as Dan said, basically everyone's 50-50 except Colorado. And then the other 62 games is going to determine if you go to the playoffs or you don't. So, it happens. So, all right, guys, no problem. All right. So, hey, Dallas, do you just want to give your players of the day, the game?
Yeah.
And
sure.
then, see, I know it's sort of tough, but do that. Then I will just carry on.
All right. So, you might have to pick some of the same ones, but I'm going to go with Kaiwei Tang, 4 innings, 1 run, pretty good. Schmidt, of course, with the only two hits of the game and 1 home run, so he's very good. And then I'll go with Eldridge. He put together some good at bats. Even though he didn't get a hit, he was more impressive than I was. I was thinking it would be strikeout city, and he only had 1. So, not saying a lot, but that's
well, when you only get 2 hits and you score 1 run, it's sort of hard to pick players of the game. So, my third star, I'm actually going to pick someone from the other team, gentleman we mentioned, Perdomo, because he's just eating up Giants pitching. He's not going to be my number 1 star, but he's definitely my number 3 star. My number 2 star, because this is the way it's got to be when it happens, I'm going to pick Zac Gallen. I thought Zac Gallen controlled the game, never really let the Giants come in and, pitch great. I think what's incredible, 6 innings. When's the last time a Giants went 6 innings? Full 6 innings, not starting the 6th. Only gave up 2 hits, 1 run, struck out 6. And then, of course, the number 1 star, Dan's favorite, Casey Schmidt. Casey with 2 hits tonight. And I thought, forget about the air. I know he had the air, but, he was some good at bats. And him batting 8th, that's sort of unique because, usually he's like 6th, maybe 7th. But I think you brought up a great point that Casey batting 8th, no pressure, no nothing. And he deserves to get another start tomorrow, against the righty.
Without a doubt, yeah.
So, all right. Well, what happens. So Dallas is going to be shooting out of here. Dallas, thank you for coming in.
Yep.
I'm going to be trying to go until either Bora or Dan comes back. But Dallas, appreciate it. Hopefully we see you tomorrow. And sorry the Giants let you down.
Hopefully it's a better effort tomorrow. We want to see more than 2 hits and more than 1 run. So that's what I'm looking for.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks. All right, guys. Hey, so I'm not sure if we can keep going on, but I'd like to at least go on for a little bit longer. So in the chat, what was your feeling tonight? I want to talk about 2 things, why it's just us. Were you disappointed in Eldridge for not coming through? What do you think of his at-bats? And where do you see the Giants now, guys? Very tough 6 more games. Can we pull through? Can we get a win tomorrow? Or as I forgot who said it, might have been Aaron Loss. Is this another nail in the coffin? How do you guys feel after tonight and after the last 2 Dodger games? You guys still have hope? Are you guys, positive where maybe we can pull it in? Or do you guys think, hey, this could be it? Let me know. I want to hear what the chat thinks. I want to hear about Eldridge. Were you happy with tonight? Were you more disappointed? And where do you see us the next 6 games on this road trip? Do you think we can pull out tomorrow? Or is it just, as Aaron said again, another nail in the coffin? We probably have 4 nails in the coffin. I think it holds 11. So it's tough. Tell me, guys, what do you guys think? Anybody in the chat have anything? Yeah, the Dodger game right now is in the top, and Philly is taking a lead. They are leading 6-5 over the Dodgers in the last game night. And then while we're here, let's just go over. Why don't we do the scores since we have a couple extra minutes? Giants didn't get any breaks tonight. So basically, the Cubs won 4-0 over the Pirates. The Braves beat the Nationals 11-3. Blue Jays, yay, Blue Jays won 2-1 over the Rays. The Orioles beat the White Sox. Yankees, boy, the Yankees, I'm telling you, they lost last night to Boston. They need these games. They lost to Rodon. I don't know if you guys saw, but Yankees had their ace tonight, Rodon, and he got pounded. Lost 7-0 at Minnesota. The Cardinals led one time 5-2 over the Reds, and the Reds came back and won 11-6. So now they basically are tied with the Giants. So that's not good. For all you Bochy fans, Texas is at Houston. Basically 3 games between Seattle, Houston, and the Rangers. So these games are huge. The Houston Astros won tonight 6-3, but also they might have lost their power hitter who just came back from the DL, but he running the bases might have pulled his groin again. And then, of course, the Giants 8-1 losers. The one thing I don't like about the scoreboard tonight with the Giants, it's not good when you have as many errors as hits. So it's one of those things. So anybody talk to me, guys. What do you guys think? Eldridge was fine. You had the biggest game of the year, and that's what they do. Just terrible. Philip, I agree. It's like, God, this team had no emotion. You have a superstar coming up, and there was nothing. The only person I saw that was excited the whole time was Adames. Adames was going up and down. He got excited. But, okay, if the Giants get Skubal, why do you guys think we're going to get Skubal? I don't understand. He's under contract with another team. It's not like he's going to be a free agent. So I think if we're going to go after anybody, we go after schemes. He doesn't make as much, but you got to remember, for us to get a quality starter like a Skubal for Detroit or schemes at Pittsburgh, we're going to need to give up a lot. And, I don't think the Giants have a lot right now to give. But why not dream big? We don't have aces. If you, Benz, Robert thinks we have 5 aces. And Robert thought today his prediction was Eldridge would go 4 for 4, 3 homers, 11 RBIs, and not strike out. But, that's Robert. Guys, one thing is, I don't know what the solution is. What do the Giants do when we don't really have pitching? Really right now, we have really one pitcher, Verlander, who's been solid 4 of the last 5 starts, but Webb hasn't been good. I think they're really tired. And I think it's gotten to a point now where we almost got to be realistic. I think the only way the Giants get in the playoffs, they got to go on home run hitting. They need at least 4, maybe 5 runs a game, and they got to do whatever they can. It's just, what are you going to do? Slow burner, Blue Jays, big win tonight. The reason why I'm so excited is I had the Blue Jays to win the East for a lot of money, and especially when New York losing tonight, it's magic number time almost. So I'm getting excited about that. I think the magic number is 9, and that's combinations of Toronto win and Yankees lose, and I think it's 7 with the Red Sox. So I'll do that. Ben's pitching wins ball games. I agree. Starting pitching wins ball games. Also defense. It's one of those things where, we had 2 horrible errors again today. Nothing you can do, but I'm more concerned about the Giants bullpen. This is now, they gave up how many tonight? So this is now, they gave up 1, 3, 6. They gave up 7. Our bullpen now gave up 7. We've now given up 17 runs. That's right. In the last 3 games, our bullpen has given up 17 runs. Okay, that's a problem. Okay, and if you remember, one thing is nobody likes our closer, so he hasn't even made an appearance. So it's gotten very, very tough. The 2 errors tonight. Oh, Dallas, welcome back. The 2 errors tonight was Tang and Casey. They were the 2 that made the errors. Ladies and gentlemen, Dallas came back.
Casey's was a low throw that Devers couldn't pick out of the dirt. It was a tough. I mean, a lot of first basemen would have had that, but it was a kind of a tough error, I thought, because he was trying to make a really fast throw over there to make the play in time.
Yep. But it's baseball. I think one of the things is one of the things about baseball and what makes it unique is, I'm talking about Eldridge, where I thought it was a disappointment. Tomorrow night, first at bat, he could hit a 3-run homer. The Giants win, and we're saying how great he is. But that's what makes baseball so beautiful. Baseball is the only sport where, you can fail 7 out of 10 times and you're a stud. And I think one of the things about baseball is you play the next day, so they can forget about this. But I think one thing about tomorrow, if you're going to forget about this, forget about how bad the bullpen is, got to get on the board early and often. It's a lot easier when you pitch. I mean, I know Webb didn't come through the other night with a 4-1 lead, but when you get an early lead, especially in these games where they are playoff games against Arizona, that's why when they scored 6 and 1 in, you knew it was over. And I think, Melvin, it's just me. I'm not a big fan of him, the way he works the bullpen. I would have definitely, and the reason why I would have used Tang, and I understand Dallas where you said, hey, the 3rd time in the lineup, but you don't even know who's pitching tomorrow. You got to worry about today's game. Today's the most important thing. And I think if we learned anything, Melvin doesn't think like Bochy. Bochy, he doesn't care about tomorrow. If he can get the win tonight, he would have pitched the whole entire staff. But you got to get the W when you do that. But now we use 3 of our guys where I think now you brought up a good point. 2 of them have pitched 2 days in a row, so they're not even available for tomorrow. So, what are you going to do? You're going to pitch Beck to start out. We don't know who's going to pitch. And, that guy is probably expected for maybe 2 innings. And when you do that, if you give up a 2 spot in the first, when you're basically, a bullpen game, it's more like 4. Because now you got to bring another guy in, which is less guy that you can use, for the other 7 innings. So, one of those things. Yep. But
I almost think they're going to bring somebody up tomorrow, just because.
Is there someone who has pitched in the majors that they can bring up from the minors, beside who we're thinking of? Is there somebody maybe we haven't thought of?
Mason Black, Trevor McDonald. I mean, these guys are the reason why we haven't seen them this year is because they haven't really been that good.
I saw the game that Eldridge struck out 4 times. Mason Black pitched. His stats were, now you ready? 1/3 of an inning, 9 runs, 13 hits. It was ugly. So, and that's the other reason why, if you're, we all think we have these guys in the AAA. Why we haven't seen them? It's because they have starts like that. Now, again, it was in Reno, so it is elevation, a lot different than Sacramento. I completely understand, but it's one of those things where, it's we got to get pitchers that aren't going to give up, runs. We got to be, it's no good if we're going to be down 5-0 in the 5th inning already. It's almost like another done game. And we're putting now, what that does is it almost puts so much pressure on Verlander on Wednesday, where if we lose tomorrow, we can't get swept. The pressure's going to be on Verlander. And I think, Dallas, you said the other day, Verlander's pitching great. He's pitching like a veteran, and he's pitching like someone that has been there before. I thought it was a great comment. I think you might have said that Thursday or Friday night. But these other guys haven't been there. And the other thing really we're not thinking about is when you go by our lineup, who has been there before?
Devers?
Except for Devers. I mean, Adames last year, Milwaukee didn't make the playoffs. They fell short. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's a different game the last week. When you're going trying to make a wild card or the playoffs, everything's different. Every game is, huge. But when you look at it, Lee's never been in that situation. Okay, Devers, Chapman's never been in that situation because the Giants haven't been in that situation. I mean, I don't know if Chapman was ever in that situation. Toronto, I don't remember. Ramos, he's never been in that situation. Bailey,
no.
Casey, and Gilbert. So you have guys now that are trying to get in the playoffs, but they've never been on this level where these games, they mean that much. And that's maybe something that, we really didn't think of. Look at today. Tang pitched great. It was almost like he'd been there before, but everyone else, no. As we say, the 4A players come in the bullpen and they got shellacked. The moment was almost too big.
We welcome back Dan, who has a name very similar to this Dan Cocamiglio guy that's been in the chat, the last half hour.
Phillies beat the Dodgers, huh? Okay. Well, what do you know? The guy Duran blows the save, and then he gets the win. I hate baseball like that. Guys, you get the win because you're the pitcher of record. You blew the save. You didn't do your job, and you stinking get a win. But that only pisses me off because my opponent has him in fantasy. So,
I was gonna say, boy, he feels strongly about this.
Yeah, just kind of, it's a very tight race right now. And anyway, Tang kind of pissed me off tonight. He gives up a walk and then a hit batter in the first, no hits, and he gets a run because he throws the ball 12 feet over Devers' head, and that's an unearned run. You see how baseball works? He gets an unearned run, even though it was entirely his fault. And, it wasn't even a field. He did it all himself, and it doesn't go against him as an earned run. How does that work out? Baseball has some screwy scorekeeping deals, in my opinion. But anyway, the ballpark was fun to be at. I'm a little salty. I'm kind of salty. I bought this ticket. The guy tells me I'm in the third row. I bought it off a street vendor. Third row. I'm like 47 rows up, and he tells me I'm right behind the plate. I was about ready to buy a $30 ticket and walk where I wanted to. Instead, I paid $55. So you got me.
Got taken. Wow.
Yeah, Mr. I was in a hurry. It was 10 minutes before the game. I was trying to get in there.
No honor among scalpers.
Yeah, no. And Dan, just for future reference, Dallas might vouch. There's a thing called StubHub where you can actually see where the seats are located when you buy them.
I was on StubHub and I was going to get a ticket, and the guy was like, I was in a hurry. So let me just call the guy out because I'll dox him. If you're Arizona, let me see. I got to look up my Zelle. I Zelled him some money. Let's pull his name up and let's call him out for being not a.
This guy will never work in Arizona scalping tickets again.
Yeah, what's his name here? Let me see. Send. Dennis. Blanche. Dennis Blanche, if you're out there, Blanche, Dennis. I trusted you, my friend. I thought the honor system, maybe.
Yeah, but Dan, now the key thing is you got a ticket to Bryce's first game.
Yeah, right here. Here it is. There it is.
You get that signed one of these days.
I actually got an actual ticket stub. That's true because most of it's digital. So this is a true ticket stub. It says $70 on here, so I got it for $55. I was just like, I should have got it for $40. The guy was. I shouldn't.
Yeah, but it was Eldridge night. If Eldridge wasn't playing, you probably would have been there, and the tickets would have been $25.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been there.
His job. Yeah,
you were there that night. The Giants got two hit by Zac Gallen,
and your boy came through. Your boy. It could have been worse.
Yeah, I had some great seats, guys. I'll have to show you some pictures. Take take a look at this right here. This is before the game. I'm sitting right at the dugout there. Look at that. Right there. There's Schmidt and Eldridge.
Dallas, doesn't that look like third row? I mean, for $55,
no, hey,
it looked like he was right there.
I moved down. I was in the front row, and see, look at that. There's the dugout right there. I'm literally setting my stuff on the dugout, and some clown Giants fan shows up a little late, like the bottom of the second, and I'm sitting there thinking, I got a free ticket right here behind the Giants dugout. Got past the, the ushers that police you and say, "Can we see your ticket?" Yeah. And I'm sitting there and I get a tap on my shoulder and oh crap! And can we see your ticket, sir? I said, "Yeah, I'm right over there." And
I dropped it.
Yeah, I should have been a little quicker because there was a whole row to my left, like 10 seats. Not one person sat in them all night long. I should have said, "Oh, I'm over there. I'm just talking to my buddy here." If I was quick enough, I would have said, "Yeah, I'm just talking to my buddy right here. I'm just over here." Instead, I get sent, and I just sat behind the plate. And I ended up sitting with Marty Lurie for the last 3-4 innings. So Marty and I worked it out. We sat together, and but I got some nice video here, guys, of Bryce warming up there. I've got some of his at bats. In fact, I did get his at bat. If you guys want to see the at bat where he hit the ball to the wall there in center field, I think, is that clear?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is he on the left side? Because I see it backwards on the right. Are you seeing it where he's batting from the left?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
it's right
good.
for us.
All right. Now this should be the pitch where he drives it. Is that the second pitch? Wait a minute. Is that the pitch? Oh, that's the one he struck out. Okay. So it's this one. I was videoing each at bat, hoping I would see history. There it goes.
Yep. He almost got all of that one.
Yeah.
Dan, can you play that again? It almost looked like, did he swing on one foot there? Or was the ball closer maybe?
I've even got sound here.
To his yeah. Yeah, that goes up. Nowhere close.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan, I don't know if you knew tonight, the Giants announcer said they used the humidifier tonight. Because a couple of those balls.
The humidor?
Yeah. Because a couple of balls that I thought were out didn't make it. Like the one guy who pinch hit for the Arizona, the one that hit the very bottom of the wall.
Yeah, Lawler.
Yeah, I thought that ball was out.
A little too low. He smoked it, but the one that McCann got didn't. That humidor didn't affect that one.
Yeah.
But deep. Then, so they pinch hit their center fielder with Lawler, and then Barossa comes in to play center field as kind of a defensive replacement, and then he makes the Eldridge catch. I think if that hadn't have happened, that probably would have been a hit.
Maybe
good,
so.
Good call. But that's where I liked Arizona. They wanted to get that run. They knew how important that run was, and then they basically says, "Hey, we'll sacrifice defense because this is the most important bat of that time."
Yeah, it was 405. 405 off the bat, or deep, and 106 miles per hour off the bat. Wow. Yeah, it was. I don't know if you guys saw it after the game. We were live on here. I was getting some video of the Eldridge family. If you guys missed that from the beginning of the show, the first 5-10 minutes of the show, you could see Bryce Eldridge with a throng of people, family members. I don't know if those were all family or family and friends, because that was a big family. There was a lot of people there for him, maybe 25.
Yeah. They said family and friends on the telecast.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Now they live back in the Virginia area, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So they had to get a flight out probably this morning, because by the time it was announced last night, it was probably past midnight there in the East Coast, because we got the news about 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, because his brother had a tech thing. By the way,
but they know they get told earlier.
Did you hear about what happened to Bryce at the airport?
No, I haven't heard. What happened?
Did you hear about what happened in Dallas?
Yeah, I did.
You want to tell the story or?
Sure. So he was.
Do you want to tell Dan or okay? To security.
Yeah, he was going. He was heading back to Sacramento from wherever they were playing on the road in AAA, and he had all his stuff. He had checked in baggage case, his bats and all his equipment and everything with the team. And then he got word that he was getting called up, and so he had to get them to try and get his luggage and stuff out of the checked baggage. And he got some of it, but not his bats and everything. So he had to kind of
his bat, his uniform, nothing didn't come. In fact, it was funny. He said his phone, they make you take your phone out through security, and it was going off, and he just happened to have the phone up, and he says, "Oh, it was his manager from Sacramento," and he goes like, "Why is he calling me?" And then he says, "Hey, you're being called up." So literally, I think all he had was his batting glove, what he wore, his wallet, and that was like really it. So he had to borrow everything.
He didn't have shoes or anything.
Yeah, no cleats,
wait a
minute,
nothing. For tonight, he didn't have shoes?
Well,
yeah, they had to find him some size 14 cleats.
Yeah, I was going to say 14. So is his stuff must be it didn't arrive today?
Well, it might have. You got to remember, this happened last night. We don't know where they came from, so all that stuff was on the airplane. The airplane then flew probably until like 11, maybe 12. He lands.
Was it going back to Sacramento, or was it going to another?
But then it arrives here. You got to have somebody get that luggage, and then what are you going to do? Have the guy fly it to Phoenix? You can't FedEx it. It's not going to get there that quick.
Yeah.
So.
Got to get those.
It was just sort of a comical story, They were just talking about it. So.
Someone living the Giants, always just get up to Sacramento, or somebody from the Sacramento Giants, just fly it down. I mean, come on.
Well, you should have a private plane, but maybe the Giants.
You just call me. I would have gone and picked it up and flown down and delivered it.
Yeah, Southwest. Hey, speaking of Southwest, guys. Let us throw this out there to you. We have a possibility of a get-together. I think we'll probably know for sure within the next week. If you're interested, we're looking at meeting up at the Red Java House on Saturday, the second to the final game of the season. We're looking at meeting up at the Red Java House for get together for NorCal Sports Network. It's a day game. So what we would do is we would meet over at Red Java House at about 10:30 in the morning. We'd get together. We'd get seats. We'd order our food by 11 o'clock. Hopefully they'd get it to us within a half hour. By 11:30, we could be chomping on hamburgers. At 12:30, we'll just walk to the ballpark from the Red Java House. It's a 15-minute walk down Embarcadero. It's a beautiful walk, by the way. It's not it's cool breeze, and you got the Bay Bridge behind you. You got a little bit of a water breeze off there. And if you're coming to the game, you can just park there at the Red Java. They probably charge $40. At least that's what they were charging. They used to charge me $30, but it's Saturday, $40, $50. But they got a ton of parking there at the Red Java. If you get there at 10:30, you can pick your parking spot. I promise you, it's going to be wide open. But if you have some interest, make sure you let us know. Let us know. In fact, probably the best way to say you're interested, because if we don't get enough interest, we just won't do it. But we would need to know. So Lou has some contacts with the Giants ticket office. In fact, the head of the ticket office. We'd have to know how many tickets people are interested in buying. If we got, we'll do it if we get 10 people. at least. But we're not going to do it for 2 or 3. So email to NorCal Sports Network. It would be fun. It might be. Let's hope it's a meaningful game. It's going to be close. If they keep playing the way they played tonight, I probably say I'm not coming. I'm just not going to fly up and run around. Although I'd love to meet all you guys that would want to come. NorCal Sports Network at gmail.com. Email me if you have an interest, and we'll see if we can put this thing together. And it'd be great if we got 25 to 50 people, and we could get a section, and maybe the Giants will do us a favor. I'm sure those ticket prices, if the Giants have a good road trip, they're going to go up. If they suck this thing, we might be getting pennies on the tickets for pennies on the dollar. Because they're playing the Rockies, and if it's a meaningless game on a Saturday with college football and everything else to do in the Bay Area, I'm sure people aren't looking to come out and see the Giants on a Saturday. They want to come Friday for the Willie Mack Award, and they want to come for Sunday for Fan Appreciation Day. Saturday is generally, if it's not a big game, it's people aren't showing up. So
correct.
I don't know what's better. It'd be nice if it meant something. We'll just pay more, though. We'll have to pay more. If it means something, we're going to have to pay. All right. So, well, guys, good show holding down the fort. I mean, I heard you guys in the car do players of the game. That might be the toughest player of the game all year long.
Yeah.
There was basically Tang and Schmidt is the only guys that did anything.
Lou had to pick a couple of Diamondbacks.
I heard that. He picked 2 Diamondbacks.
What am I going to do?
There's no other option.
Oh, man. Yeah, yeah. You know what? We'll see where
I had to pick Eldridge, and he was 0 for 3.
Yeah, but you had to say he hit the ball pretty good twice. He was on deck, and Chapman had a 3-1 count, and
typical.
Come on, Chapman, take a pitch. We're not here to see you.
Couldn't even come through then for
so
us.
So annoying.
Gosh, you can't come through with a RBI when we need it generally, and then we just want him to. Hey, look, the game's over. Can you just move aside and just maybe get on base or something? But you got to swing at a 3-1 pitch. Come on. Oh boy. Well, tomorrow is crucial. I see it's Thomas Bryant Davidson pitching for the Giants against Rodriguez.
Johnny Holstaff.
Is it Rodriguez pitching, or did they switch it?
For the Giants?
No, the Diamondbacks.
Oh,
I thought they had Rodriguez pitching tomorrow.
They have they do.
Yeah,
Rodriguez against Thomas Bryant Davison or Davis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thomas
TBD.
Bryant Davis.
That guy's a stud.
Weren't the Giants facing 5 righties in a row?
That's
what
they announced. I thought Rodriguez is a righty.
No, he's a lefty.
Oh, then they switched because that was bought today by Alex, saying, "Hey, the Giants."
I think he meant 4 of the next 5. I think it was 4 of the next 5.
I heard in a row, but Alex might have made a mistake. Okay.
All right. Well, I made a mistake on our video that was put out this morning. I did put a correction statement in there. Bryce Eldridge is eligible if the Giants make the playoffs because he took over. He was in the organization and he took over for an injured player.
So he was on the 40-man before
I don't think he was on the 40, was he? Because
no, he wasn't.
I didn't see him on the 40 till today.
Correct.
So, according to what I read in Major League Baseball, but I missed it. You had to be on the 40, even if you were in the organization. But if you're taking over for an injured player, I guess they allow that. because he was in the organization. So
it might have to be approved by the league, the front office or the league office. But I'm not. They probably should be a formality. But I heard from legitimate sources both ways today: eligible, not eligible. So
okay, well, I'm okay. That's interesting.
Pavlovich says eligible,
and you know what? It probably doesn't matter.
Hopefully, they have one last hurrah here.
Do they have one last? Hey, this team has been dead to right many times, and they just pop up, and all of a sudden they make a run. I did say about a week or two ago, the thing that I think does them in is their pitching. Our pitching.
They don't have any.
They don't have any. Yeah, they just have none.
Garbage.
Yeah.
The bullpen has become one of the worst in baseball.
17 runs in the last 3 games.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's over 6 or almost 6 runs a game for the bullpen. Yeah. And think about it.
There's not really much hope for the pitching, but they were scoring 10 runs a game there for a stretch. Yeah. Can they start to score some runs again and give their pitching some help?
What happened to Devers? Did he just is he AWOL? I mean, he's missing in action again. He's just not. I can't remember. I think he had a hit the other night, a base hit through the hole that maybe, and that was the last hit I've seen in a few games. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm only recalling that hit that went in this 3-4 a hole.
I think you're right, but no one got a hit tonight other than Casey.
Yeah. Producer Ryan says, Dan, Devers is a streaky hitter. Counting stats always are good end of year. We'll see. Well, hopefully he gets going. He's only hitting like 255 or something is my guess. What is he, 254, 255 after tonight? Rafi Devers is hitting 255. Okay, I was right on the money. Chapman is hitting 239. Schmidt is hitting 240. Lee leads the team at 264. Dom Smith was a 280-ish hitter before he went down. So Adames 230. He looked pretty bad tonight, didn't he? On TV, did it look as bad as it did? Did it look as bad as it did from the stadium?
He was 0-2 all 4 times he was up, and then of course he struck out 3 times. It wasn't even close. They pitch him inside and boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and I was really pissed off because my opponent again in fantasy has Perdomo, and the guy did not make an out tonight. Perdomo.
He's like 11 for his last 13 against the Giants.
Jeez. If he's gonna get on base, put one in his ribs. I know that's
I don't think the Giants have pitchers that can actually hit somebody in the ribs.
Yeah, they need one. They need somebody. They need somebody. Maybe Verlander. He's a guy that can do it. Jeez.
But yeah, it was tough.
Yeah.
And Dan, what did you think of the umpire tonight? He was sort of inconsistent behind the plate.
I was sitting behind the home plate for half the game, and I'm looking at I'm trying to remember who was pitching. It was a Giants guy that was pitching. Maybe it was either Peguero or Gage, and he threw one that looked like it was right down the middle, and I didn't know if it was low. Was there one that I don't have the box there. Was there a pitch that maybe somebody in that rough inning threw one right down the middle, and it was like on the bottom of the strike?
2, but they were literally maybe a ball and a half low. They were low, but they were called earlier in the game as strike.
But none of them hit the bottom of the zone on that. Okay,
but they were called a strike. They were called a strike 2 innings before.
Because I was literally right behind home plate, and I'm going, that's like right down the middle, but I couldn't tell the
when the report card comes out on this game, it won't be very pretty.
Hey, producer Ryan, we got a message from Philip to Ryan here. He says, nice Broncos game.
Speaking of umpiring.
Oh, yeah. What happened? The field goal, that game? What happened on that last field goal? The field goal he missed, and they gave him a...
One of the rules in NFL and college, you cannot jump and hit the center when he's, centering to the placeholder. And that guy jumped and his knee hit, and it's a rule, hit the center. But you got to remember, it happens probably 90% of the time. It's not always called. So the ball basically veered to the right. Denver won the game. And then they called, and what it was, instead of it being, I think it was a 62-yarder or a 52-yarder, it was a 15-yard penalty. And the guy also had all day to get ready for it. They went down, and it was, he made
it was
it
a 15-yard penalty, not a 5?
15, yeah.
Oh, do they even have 15 yards? I thought they were 10 yards.
It was a personal foul.
Wow. So they called it leveraging when I listened to it, but I couldn't see.
Yeah, because when he tried to block it, he actually jumped on the centers with his knee. You got to jump over the center. You're not allowed to touch him. So
it wasn't like it was an accident, incidental. He actually
but it happens probably 85% of the time. In high school, they don't even line up over the center. In college, they sort of line up a little bit. Pros, they're there. So it was a
look
bad
at Ryan firing off. I knew he would be pissed still. Crappy ass call. Happens 90% of plays. Yep. Lou said the same thing. Complete crap. Any more excuses, Ryan? You're 1-1, it looks like.
Dan, I wouldn't talk much because you played probably the two worst teams in the NFC and got very lucky on both road games.
That's okay. I had to take so much crap last year from producer Ryan.
I understand.
Hey, you did me good the first week. I predict you in the Survivor. Thank you. Now you're in trouble because everybody knows your name now. The Broncos ain't surprising anybody like they did last year. So, Ryan, you got to be able to take it, man. You dished it out last year. Guys are just having fun with you. So am I. But you know what? We know you take it hard, so we'll keep it up. So anyway, guys, let's get out of here. Thanks for manning the show tonight. We'll come back tomorrow night. Will be game 2 of the series. It's our good old friend TBD versus Eduardo Rodriguez. Hopefully they play Eldridge. I don't want to see Flores, okay? I don't want to see Wilmer Flores. I'm done with Wilmer Flores. How about you guys?
Yeah, let's see Eldridge again. He's got to be able to hit lefties anyway.
The same lineup.
Yeah.
I guess Encarnacion will be in right.
Oh, boy. Are we going to do that stuff again?
I mean, Matos is gone, so you're not going to play Gilbert against the lefty.
Hey, what'd you think of Ramos overrunning the ball again? Left the ball behind him, and then he threw it into third base. He just kind of lobbed it in, and Chapman had no idea it was coming, and it rolled right. I'm looking at the thing, and it rolls right past Chapman. I think the pitcher finally had to run over and grab it because
I'm kind of getting sick and tired of his horrible play in left field. Just DH him then. Let somebody else play the outfield.
Eldridge?
I mean,
I'm tired. I mean,
scary out there.
I had thrown in the towel at that point. I was done.
Yeah, I was stuck there because I was going to do the live from. Otherwise, I would have left when Marty left, and that was about the 8th inning. After the Giants batted, I was like, I'm ready to go, beat the traffic. But I thought it would be kind of cool. Actually, it was kind of cool to see the Eldridge family. Out there on the field, we got them right live on our screen. So I believe you're right, Philip, about this. I was talking to Marty. We kind of think that Ramos might get dealt this offseason. Yeah. Thanks, Lou and Dallas, for holding down the fort. Absolutely. Thanks to our sponsor, Chapman Law Group, everybody. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call for all your legal needs. You got a personal injury situation, call Chapman Law Group. Don't leave money on the table by settling with an insurance company. Get on the phone and call Chapman Law Group, 415-613-9483. You're going to have to remember that. You get a little fender bender, and hopefully not, but life happens. So make sure you keep Chapman Law Group's phone number handy.
If Dennis Rauch, or whatever his name is, lives in California, maybe you have a case against him.
Oh, Philip lost in a survivor pool, or was that just your regular picks? All right, guys, the band plays on. We'll be back tomorrow night, approximately 9:15, 9:30 after Game 2. Giants take on the Dbacks, and it will be TBD, Thomas Davis, whatever his name is, and the music's about to start up again, so we're out of here. See you, guys.